meeting to order. Want to start? We all can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Yeah. Show you right.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Present.
Dr. Woods, Attorney Lockett.
Present.
I'm present, and we have President Suggs. All right, we have 4 members present.
Can't hear you.
All right, with 4 members present, we have a quorum. Our next item on the agenda, approval of the February 19, 2026 agenda. Do I have a motion?
Can't hear you.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions from the board members? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Dr. Woods.
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
and I say yes.
With a vote of 4-0, motion carries. All right, Gary Ready snapshots. Mrs. Whittington.
Good evening, Dr. Stokes, members of the board, those in my presence from this amazing community, and those who are viewing virtually. My name is Chelsea Whittington, and I proudly serve as the Chief of Public and Community Relations for your Gary Community School Corporation. It's always a pleasure to be able to present Gary Ready Snapshots, as it is an opportunity for me to share with the board and the community some of the amazing things that are taking place throughout the district and things that we have to look forward to. The very first thing we'd like to call the attention to is a big congratulations to our partners over at GAPS. On yesterday from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. They hosted another one of their amazing career days. Special thanks to any of the professionals in our community who came out to share their expertise in the variety of fields in which they work. This is an ongoing endeavor by GAPS, and we appreciate them for participating and for presenting career path opportunities to our district students. Can we give them a round of applause? Next up, I just want to make a blanket plug across the district for Black History Month. In each one of our buildings are activities that celebrate the month of February and Black history and its heritage. We invite you to visit both GarySchools.org as well as each individual school's Facebook page to find out what's happening during Black History Month for their schools. We have it listed on our website under the calendar of events, and each school has promoted its own program for the month. What's a better step for you to take is to be there. Once you've identified what other types of events that you would like to attend for Black History Month, you are welcome to participate in the schools. Some, since we are in mid-February, have already taken place, but most of them happen the final week as they have ramped up to make a big finale splash at the end of the month. Next up, I am so excited to yield the mic. Where we all sit and stand right now is the jewel of the district, one of the Gary Area Career Center. It is the place where we invite our students to explore and immerse themselves into opportunities so they can find out what they want to be, see, and do when they leave high school. However, the Gary Area Career Center offers certain certifications in various disciplines. And tonight we are going to recognize students who have completed certifications in the areas of radio and TV broadcasting, as well as welding. I'd first like to invite to the podium my colleague and instructor, J. Kevin Thomas, to speak about his radio, TV certified students from the Gary Community School Corporation. Kevin?
Good afternoon, Board. I just want to tell you how excited I am to be here watching two of my students get this award. The reason why I'm so excited is that some of you don't know, I was out of work for about a month. I was sick. And I was in IMCU, which is the next level right below ICU, for 9 days. I had a staph infection, I was traveling, and you know those things go on. But while I was there, we were able to keep the lesson plans coming, and we were right in the middle of certifications. My students for 4 weeks with their sub continued their own studies to get the certification themselves. This is an amazing, amazing thing that they did. When I got back to school after being a month out of school, when I got back, I checked on them, we took a pre-test, and they were ready to take the certification themselves. They need to get a round of applause for that. That's what you don't hear out of this district. We have so many wonderful students here in this school district. And those are the stories that need to be told. So Robert Petty and Timothy Eubanks, they're just finished up that certification, Society of Broadcast Engineers certification. It's a tough certification to get. There's very few people, there's very few 17-year-olds that have this certification. We got 2 of them that have it. Also, we're starting our next certification for the Certified Radios Operators License. We'll have that done in about 6 to 8 weeks, and they'll have the second certification coming out, industry standard certification, which is exciting. So I'm just super excited for this, super excited for you all to be able to see them. Robert and Timothy, you want to come up? Come on up, David, come on up.
Wonderful. Now let's see how we translate these certifications into some jobs, some need for employment to support our city.
Absolutely, absolutely. One more quick thing. I know, that's all. Tomorrow, they're actually going out to Glen Park to give a presentation to some 8th graders there. They have put together their own presentation. They created their own slideshow. They wrote their own script. And so I'm going to sit back in the back and watch these 2 guys go out and teach our youth and to encourage them to be better than we ever thought they could be, because there's so many kids like this right here in the Gary Community School District, and we should be proud of them and give these kids whatever we can give them to make sure that they can go out and shine. So I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you, J. Kevin. And in true fashion for my team, we will be highlighting these students separate and apart for their media, having them on our TV show as well as our radio program, so we can extend these accolades beyond tonight's meeting. One more time for our radio TV students. Next up is a craft that is indeed a specialty that will definitely have our students, if they so desire, to step right out into the workforce in the field of welding. We have a community partnership, and our community partner, Ms. Alicia, is here to talk to us and present to us the 4 young people who have excelled in their welding certification. Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Come on down. And when you get your big jobs, remember this face. If I need to.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So, I'm so proud of these boys. Before I even get into these young men, before I even get into what I do and what the school, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. before I get into what I do and these young men, I've not seen anything like this. I've been a principal, I've been in high schools, mother, dads, and the school, because I know it takes everybody. Y'all did a huge job with these boys. I have not had any students like them. They're very responsible. They are independent. They call me with solutions. Right. That's what I said. No problem solutions. And I teach adults, grown adults. They normally call me with problems. They call me with solutions. They're ready. They're always on time, dedicated. I never have to make them do too much of anything. Very mannerable, respectful. Moms, dads, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have these boys, these young men. And motivated and driven. They all have something that they want to do. They know what they're doing. They know where they want to go. They know where they want to work. They have goals. This is like amazing to me. I'm excited to be able to be their instructor. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all know that I love y'all. Back to the program. So, what these young men have done, they have certified with AWS Welding certifications, which is American Welding Society certifications. These certifications give them the ability to work in all 52 states, including Puerto Rico, Mexico. They are in a national database. Yeah, I know, right? They're in a national database, so they can go anywhere in the country here within the 52 states and get job placed. We have been to the Boilermakers Union Hall, the Pipe Fitters Union Hall, the Iron Workers Union Hall, and they are signed up to take tests in 8 weeks? In 16 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So they graduated May, so hopefully by June and July they will actually be working at one of the labor unions. Alonzo has decided to go to the military and be a welder in the military. Anthony is already in the National Guard and he's working. He's going to stay in the National Guard. The Pipe Fitters Union Hall works with military. So he can stay 100% National Guard, and when he's done and when he's back home, he can go straight into the Pipe Fitters Union Hall as long as he registers within a year of him coming out. So they allow him that time. So even if he does just weekends and he only does part-time with the National Guard, he can do 100% full-time with the Pipe Fitters. And so that's the route that he wants to go.
Right.
Keyshawn has not really made up his mind. He's crossed between the Pipe Fitters and the Boilermakers, but I think he's going with the Pipe Fitters, so he made a decision last week. Chauncey is going to do a private company, meaning a smaller business, not a union job. So we are searching and looking for jobs for him. So I do job place. I have a 92% job placement rate for our school. Our school is called Strike and Walk the Cup Welding. We are located on 9th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. We do teach and certify young adults as well as older adults. The youngest student I've certified was 13 years old, homeschooled. And their certifications are fine. They just have to be at least 18 years old to get a job. Our second portion of the program is based on employment. Okay, so we're trying to get them employment ready. So they're doing job applications, they're doing resume writing, mock interviewing, and then they're actually going to take the tests at the union halls. So they're registered at the union halls and they're taking all of them. I told them to do all the union tests. I know they want to only do one union, but I want them to apply to all of them. So they're going to do at least 3 unions out of the 6. So the second portion of the program, they will be going to the other unions they didn't go to. So the bricklayers, the carpenters, and the millwright union. So they'll visit them and then they'll apply for those positions. And they normally get phone calls between June and July. So hopefully they will do fine. We're also doing specific math I have a third party coming in to teach them the specific math for the industry that they're going in for welding. So they'll teach them how to be able to pass the test, to help them to pass the test on the mathematical section, which is the hardest section. So the second portion up until May, that's what we're focused on. And then they will also try to get a second welding certification in a different process that they didn't get in the first program. So they also have OSHA 10 certifications as well. They are graduating with me because they went through my program, and our graduation is in March, and so they will attend and they will be participating in our graduation as well. I'm very, very proud of them. So the grills that you saw when you walked in, all four of them made those grills. They are cookable. So they can cook in them. Alonzo, he said he's not cooking in it. It's too good to cook in it, so he won't be cooking in it. The other three are going to cook in those, but I teach them that through this fabrication course. The fabrication course teaches them how to use their creativity and how to make things that we use on an everyday basis. So if anything should ever happen in the world, like we hit COVID again, at least they know that they can continue to work, they have a trade. They can fabricate things, they can make things, and always have a job. Welding is not going anywhere, so they have developed a huge amount of skills for them to be able to live and take care of their family. I also want to mention Alonzo was a dad. This one. The baby's in the back. And he has been very dedicated to doing what he needs to do to be a man for his child and raise his family. So he has the biggest plan, and he does not come off of it. His only talk is work, military, baby, and baby mama crying. Right, so we help each other. Also, I want to say these four, they're very close woven, which is another thing that I don't see amongst the young youth. They help each other outside of school. I hear them talking all the time about what they're doing. They get on each other about everything, whether they're running late, whether they're not making it. They are very good supporters for each other, and that amongst black men is very huge. And I commend them all the time, and I tell them all the time to keep that type of a relationship. She coming up close, I think it's time for me to go. So, she didn't give me minutes, she just said 2 minutes. So, I don't know if y'all want them to say something?
Would you all like to say anything?
Thank y'all.
There you go. These young men are all seniors at West Side Leadership Academy. Our principal, our vice principals are all here. Can you all stand and wave? Because administration also plays a role in being supportive of the dual curriculum between West Side and the Gary Area Career Center. Thank you so much for being here. And we will be at that graduation, Ms. Felicia, in March to support our students. Thank you so much. Moving on, and the great Gary Ready Snapshots continue. In the month of December, I reminded the community and the school community to hurry up and get your essays in for the Martin Luther King Ecumenical Celebration. Well, our students did just that. And tonight, I am super proud to report that the students from Bailey STEM Academy took 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place of the essay contest. Now, to give its proper credit and due, I invite my colleague and teacher, Hollis Manna, to come forward to tell us what the secret sauce was about these winners and to tell us who they are and what awards they received as a result of being winners. Gary School.
Good evening to Superintendent Stokes as well as to the school board members. We are overjoyed with 3 of our students winning for the ecumenical essay competition. Our students have been on a tour being celebrated all throughout the city. On Sunday, they spoke at church, giving their speeches, and we have one of our students with us today. I said amen, I think I'm at church. Lanaya Frazier, who is here with us. as well. Deshanti Hamilton is not here, as well as Laylan Jones. Today is our last homecoming game, and I think they chose that over this, and that's okay. That's okay. So thank you to the community, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to showcase that Gary, we have thinkers, we have writers, and we have can-do students in our classrooms.
Sal wants to share. You want to speak?
My name's Lanaya Bedger, and I won 3rd place on the Martin Luther King Jr. essay competition. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." Dr. King was an American Baptist minister and a leader in the civil rights movement. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and became well known for standing up for racial equality through peaceful protests. His words and actions helped change America and continue to inspire people today. Dr. King was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and believed in nonviolent resistance. He helped lead important events such as the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington. Because of his leadership and commitment to justice, he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Even after his assassination, Dr. King's legacy lives on as a symbol of justice, equality, and human rights. The quote, "Be true to what you said on paper," means that America should live up to the promises written in important documents like the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. These documents promise freedom, equality, and promises were not true for African Americans because of systemic racism and discrimination. Dr. King believed it was wrong for laws to say one thing while real life showed something different. African Americans had to fight for the rights they were promised but denied. They used peaceful protests like the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington, along with legal challenges and political organizing. Dr. King pointed out the difference between what the law said and how people were actually treated. They showed that writing laws is not enough. People must follow them for real change to happen. In conclusion, this quote still matters today because fairness, equality, and justice teaches me to treat others equally and not judge people based on race. Young people can help make a difference by volunteering, speaking up about unfairness, and following rules that protect everyone. America should remember Dr. King's words and work to make equality stronger while reducing discrimination and injustice.
Alrighty, so the first place winner received $100 and a tablet, I believe. And then our second place, I believe, the second place was $100, and then our third place winner won $50, just as an incentive. But this just goes to show we have some writers in Gary Community Schools. Come on now. We are excited about it, and thank you all for your time. My name is Janine Anthony Smith. I am the assistant principal at the wonderful Bailey STEM Academy. Thank you all.
One more time for our essay winners. And just like our welders and our certified broadcast students, we will also be featuring our essay winners on air so that they can read their essays, right, Jeff? And then it will live in perpetuity for us to continue to watch and listen for many years to come. Last but not least, I don't know what you smell in the air, but I smell three-peat. Coming up on Saturday, February 28th, is the Steel City Knowledge Bowl, where our team from Westside Leadership Academy will be competing. And they've won 2 years in a row, and if they win they've won 3 years in a row? 2 years in a row. Okay, don't throw me off. 2 years in a row, and when they are victorious on the 28th, it will be considered a three-peat. We wanted to invite everyone out. It is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. and it's going to take place at the main stage Theater at Indiana University Northwest in the Arts and Sciences building in that theater. Come and cheer the Cougars on. This is our school board meeting, so you can read the flyer to see who else is going to be there. But Westside Leadership Academy will be in competition. We ask that you come, and there's a lot of Gary history that they have been studying. Do I have our coaches here? I see you raising your hand. Would you like to add anything at this time?
Just come out and support.
Please come out and support our young people. The last day of the month, Saturday, February 28th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mr. Johnson, board members, Dr. Stokes, this concludes my report. Thank you so much for the indulgence of Gary Ready Snapshots.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. All right, at this time, we'll move to public comments. Let's see. All right, pursuant to Indiana Code 5-14-1.5-3, the Gary Community School Corporation Board of Trustees welcomes comments from the community. As a result, the agenda for each regular meeting provides time for public expression. The period of public expression is limited to 3 minutes per individual and 30 minutes total discussion of items on the agenda or to express concerns relative to the operation of the school, city, school board actions, and other items of general educational interest. If there are many people wishing to address the board, we may limit the amount of time a person may speak. Comments shall be directed to the board, not to individual board members. Statements shall not be abusive or argumentative. Persons making comments shall not debate statements made by others. It shall not be permissible to orally present or discuss complaints against individual employees of the Gary Community School Corporation at any board or school trustees meetings. Issues relating to personnel, individual circumstances, or an individual school will be referred to the building principal or an appropriate administrator in an attempt to resolve the issue prior to an appeal before the board. Speaker cannot transfer their remaining time to another person. The board president will enforce these rules and may take actions necessary to maintain order at the meeting. Such actions may include, but are not limited to, interrupting the speaker if the statement is too lengthy, unduly repetitive, or otherwise violates the rules. The president may terminate the address of any speaker who violates these rules, or limit the total amount of time devoted to public comments if there's a large number of people wishing to address the board, or if there's a large agenda of other business before the board. All right, so at this time we have Mr. Robert Bugs.
Good evening, Dr. Stokes and the
Mr.
board.
Bugs, just to be fair to you, can we just allow the transition that's happening right now before you start? Let's just give the people a few minutes so that we are fair to your time. Is that okay? Start his time over, please.
We haven't started.
Okay,
How much 3 minutes?
you'll get it. All right, thank you, sir, for pivoting. Go ahead.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Stokes and the board and the members of the president here. I just want to applaud all of the students because after all, there would be no school board if it wasn't for students. So I'm glad to see, Dr. Stokes, that students are being recognized and brought forward because we do have a lot of talented students in Gary, Indiana. Now, having said that, there's one thing that I have a concern, I won't call it a complaint, and that is the sign-in sheet. This is a public forum to discuss issues with the school, Gary Community School Corporation. They should not be allowed only 5 minutes to sign in. If you have material on that table, when the people come in, they should be able to sign up at that time. It should not be relegated to just 5 minutes before the board takes the sheet away. That is wrong because it gives the appearance of dictating, of limiting the public right to speak. So that's what all I had to say today, except that I applaud all of the students. I know y'all expecting me to come up with a lot of negative stuff, but I just like to give credit where credit is due. And those students are why we all are here. And I just want to thank Dr. Stokes for this leadership and bring the students forward. Bring the students forward. I do think, however, that the award should be a lot more than $250. Because I'm going to say something that's school related. That was $400 million that was supported not by you all, but by a former, people that was taking administration. $400 million, then we give our students $250 for excelling. No, I do better. Thank you.
Mr. William Mullins.
Good morning, Dr. Stokes and members of the board. My name is William Mullins, and I am a Westside Leadership Academy student. I came here to talk about how amazing Westside is. It has amazing people there, and students, and staff, and an amazing principal, Mr. Scott. When I first came to Westside, I did not have that many friends until I started exploring. And I got lost because the building was different. But Westside, to me, isn't just a school building. It's a home. It's a place where people can go to feel safe and be their true self without being judged. Because at the end of the day, we are all human. We all bleed the same blood. And we should judge people not by the color of their skin or how they act, but their actions. We should judge them by their actions. And I just wanted to thank everyone that works at Westside Leadership Academy, including Principal Scott and all the assistant principals, and my amazing teachers, like my 11th grade English teacher, Mr. Reed, and all the other people. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Ms. Tender. Ms. Tender.
Where's the clock? Right here. Where? Right here. We don't see it on the screen. Okay, we're moving it to the screen for you.
We'd like to see it on the screen. I'd like to see it on the screen. Thank you. That isn't working. Good evening, Superintendent Stokes, your board, and our fine members of our community. My name is Lavetta Tyndall, and I have questions. Where's the pool? Money was approved in 2023 for a new pool at Westside High School. Where is it? What is the status of the yearbooks? And why is it, or if we don't have, why or when will we have students who will work on a committee to create the school's yearbook? What's the RHS budget status? Regarding the historically renowned and architecturally profound learning institution, Roosevelt High School, how are you making sure that deteriorating is being inhibited? What is the line item in the budget that allocates funds for refurbishing, repurposing, renovating the Roosevelt High School properties? What are your plans for Roosevelt High School's preservation? Not demolition, not inactivity and deterioration beyond usage. I have a request. Please consider issuing a result of the Black Onyx meeting held in 2024. 2024. What steps are being taken to teach parenting classes to parents of our students, including the importance of parents being actively involved in and committed to the education of, that is, quality education, high quality education, and equitable education for our students to become globally competitive? Another question, would you please activate the automatic door opening mechanism? Get it repaired. I've been coming to meetings and we can't use the automatic door opener. Thank you very much.
Jay Henderson.
Good evening to the board and Dr. Stokes. I'm a teacher at Westside Leadership Academy, currently teaching government economics, and I'm here to specifically address Action 6.8. I first started Westside as a student teacher, 21 years old, finishing up my last semester at Purdue University. Though Tippecanoe County offered multiple opportunities for me to finish my studies at local high schools, I intentionally chose to come back to Gary, Indiana, because I ultimately knew where I was belonged was in my city. As a product of Gary schools and two parents teaching here, I knew what it meant to inspire Black education within the city of Gary. And with that same passion I had to come back home and teach our Black youth, I believe that Mr. Scott carries an even brighter flame of passion towards the same cause, be it that he himself is a graduate of Westside Leadership Academy. Fast forward into August of 2022, my mind is full of many questions about teaching, and then I got to meet Mr. Scott. And I saw parts of myself, a young-ish Black male from Gary leading the charge in education. Under Mr. Scott's leadership, I've been able to mentor a group of students for pathways to college. I've become AP certified to teach early college students, and I've noticed my own personal growth as an educator under his guide. Also, despite setbacks, I see a school that has noticeably improved from the time I got there under previous administration until now. The in-class behavior of my students have recognizably improved. Also, according to the Indiana Department of Education, SAT scores and FAFSA completion rate have also improved during his tenure. In the world of government, there's a phenomenon that we describe as the lag effect, where there are certain changes politicians make that you're not able to see until they're out of office. With him having immediate impact in the current, I'm sure that with more time, he would be able to create an even more change that is seen now. Change that he should get credit for his credit while he is here. Our current mayor, who is also a Black male product of Gary Schools, has created revolutionary change around the city. And I'm sure that when his time is up for re-election, he will be given a vote of confidence from his fellow citizens so that he can see the time and energy that he put into the city paid off. And I believe Mr. Scott should be afforded that same ability as he has proven he is the man for this job. This is just his first graduating class of freshmen to seniors that is about to graduate in 2026. And with a student body where many kids are experiencing hardships and constant changes in his lives, not bringing Mr. Scott back would be removing one of the only senses of continuity that they currently have. It would be a risk that could alienate not only the current staff here at WSLA, but also the student body that we cherish. So on this day, February 19, 2026, is with proud judgment that I give Mr. Scott my vote of confidence in him and his ability to get the job done. Thank you.
Kimberly Collins.
Good afternoon, Dr. Stokes and members of the board, as well as members of the community. My name is Kimberly Collins. I am here as a representative of Big Brothers Big Sisters. I am proud to be a part-time employee for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, which is looking to expand in Northwest Indiana. I recognize the importance of mentors and the influence that a mentor can have on a young person. And it's so ironic that my mentor is actually here today. And I don't know if he stepped out, but Colonel Liggin. I met Colonel Liggin as a 19-year-old student at Indiana University. And my professor, Gary Martin, walked me over to him again at 19. He was the reason why I ultimately became a federal agent and the agency that I work for. And to this day, he is still a very, very important part of my life, some 30 plus years later. So with Big Brothers Big Sisters, as I mentioned, we're looking to expand in Northwest Indiana. We now have a meeting place in Gary, which is the library downtown. And we are actively recruiting mentors, which we call bigs, as well as littles, which of course are young people. There have been some challenges. We have been sharing the information for quite some time, and unfortunately haven't really gotten a response. So we just think it's very important to make sure that more people know that Big Brothers Big Sisters is in the community. And again, we are very, very excited about the potential that exists here in Gary. Briefly, the overview of Big Brothers Big Sisters. Every child deserves a chance to see their potential realized by matching adult mentors one-to-one with children in our communities. Big Brothers Big Sisters defends that potential and helps to change lives and futures. The mission is to create and support one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth. I do have information that I will leave on the table for those that are interested. And again, I encourage members of the community to use just a little bit of your time to dedicate to a young person who may not have a positive role model in their life, and you will be amazed at the difference that you can make. Thank you very much.
Michaela Stanford.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Michaela Steinenberg, and I facilitate the Gary Education Coalition. I've noticed that you've made some changes to your rules. Sorry, this mic is just at a really weird angle. You've made some changes to your rules as regards public comment. Aside from like just the contradictions within those rules, because clearly things were added and other things weren't taken out and yada yada, you also run into the situation where you're essentially telling people that you may just decide that only 10 people get to comment, and given that you have sign-up sheets where you have about 3 people per page, you can just shuffle, right? Nobody wants that to be the perception. Furthermore, I have yet to see a case, and maybe I'm wrong and I've missed something, where there's been a hard time limit imposed of such short duration for such a long agenda. And that being treated as reasonable under statute. But when I went to look for this rule in your policies, it wasn't there. In your policies on board docs, it's the stuff that's been there since 2024. So I'm kind of wondering, like, and I'm going to ask you a question that gets asked me every time I make a certain comment at this board. Do you know how to use board docs? I'm going to ask you that because every time I've come up here and said, why are there no attachments on the agenda before the meeting? How are we supposed to meaningfully comment on things? I get asked, do you know how to use board docs? And I've been asked that like half a dozen times. Yes, I do. And every other school corporation in this area seems to understand that, yes, people need to see the attachment on the public end. Maybe you guys are seeing it on your end. And that's great. But I've literally shown people on my phone, I can show you now, there are no attachments on anything. On this entire agenda, there are no attachments. How are we supposed to know what's in the MOUs we're commenting on? How are we supposed to know how much money is in that fund transfer? How are we supposed to provide meaningful comment? This community is a blessing, and it is the greatest resource that this district will ever have. And that includes our students, that includes our parents, that includes everybody. And I wouldn't waste time for years now just not putting things on the agenda, because the only way that this district and our community will survive and thrive is together. And we need to be able to provide input. Thank you.
Chris Brown.
Hello, good afternoon or good evening, Dr. Stokes and members of the board. My name is Chris Brown, owner and operator of Brown Family Ranch. My purpose here today is to come for the proposal land donation. We recently submitted a letter, maybe about 5 months ago, for land donation, but we haven't heard anything since then. So I thought it would be a good idea to come here in person and present this. So what you have in front of you is the proposal in detail, and I just want to read off a few key points to you guys. All right. First one is stewardship and community leadership. The long-term stewardship by Charles Hall, Philip Fuller, and myself, Chris Brown, is not merely a matter of property maintenance. It is a testament of the power of community leadership in the face of systemic neglect. Their efforts have prevented further environmental degradation, fostered a sense of ownership among residents, and laid the groundwork for future positive use. The history of care distinguishes Brown Family Ranch a uniquely qualified steward for the land's next chapter. Addressing environmental and public health challenges. Illegal dumping is a multifaceted problem with environmental, health, and economic consequences. Dump waste can contaminate soil and water, attract vermin, and create fire hazards. The psychological toll on residents, stress, anxiety, and diminished community pride is well documented. By formalizing Brown Family Ranch stewardship, the land transfer will enable systemic cleanup, environmental assessment, and then implementation of best practices in land management. The land donation or purchase will be conducted in full compliance with Indiana law, including deed requirements, environmental regulations, and tax documentation. Brown Family Ranch is prepared to provide all necessary information with legal counsel and ensure a transparent, accountable process. The donation of those parcels to Brown Family Ranch represents a rare opportunity to honor a legacy of stewardship, address pressing community needs, and create a lasting positive impact in Gary, Indiana. We urge you to join us in this transformation endeavor. So we're just looking for reaction or response for this land donation. So my name is Chris Brown. You can reach us or myself at 219-900-2423. Thank you.
LaBreda Donna.
Good evening to the board and community members. I'm here to try to speak as quickly as I can on concerns of mine. First of all, my school, Roosevelt High School, I would like to know where we are with that. I hope that we don't end up attending a meeting that we did and hear someone say, as McNulty said, we celebrated tearing down New Wallace High School. That would be an awful thought to walk in here and hear it being stated that it was celebrated about Belt being torn down. My next question is virtual learning. And I know since 2019 I've talked about the teachers being accredited and the high school being accredited. That to me is still important. I attended the meeting here when the young man who was a 1986 graduate of Warwick High School was introducing the program for virtual learning. If we are paying for virtual learning, we are also having to pay to have the monitors in the classroom while the virtual learning is going on. So that's, and I'm assuming that we're paying someone to monitor those classes that have to have virtual learning. So that money could maybe perhaps go in another more positive direction for the students. So I'm hoping that there is a time frame when we will have more accredited school teachers within the Gary Public School System. And we won't have to rely on virtual learning, which eventually could cause a lot of job loss. I think that one-on-one is extremely important. And basically that's it. I just think that we should have the students first. And part of that is not just virtual learning. And I would like to commend the board. I'd like to see more students receiving certifications for welding and like what we saw today with the television and everything. And so I commend you for that. So, thank you.
That was all who signed in. Was there anyone else who wanted to address the board that didn't get an opportunity to sign? Yes.
My name is John Allen, a Gary resident. I pursued a public records request from the Gary School Corporation for the financial records, being specific, the vendor analysis for 2019 through 2024. That request was, I guess for lack of a word, granted. There was no statements as to what would be, or any prohibitions for giving me that information. I received an invoice to pick up copies of the information. And when I made contact and made arrangements to examine the documents, as it is the public's right, prior to me picking the documents up, I went to the school with a couple other citizens with me, and I was the only one allowed to look at the documents, not the other citizens. And the reason why I brought these citizens was not to be grandstanding or nothing, but the documents are 6,000 pages in number. So I thought to divide them up and we kind of comb through them before we take them. When I get there, the documents, I was told the documents are not printed. They're actually electronic, despite what the invoice says. And I was the only one allowed to look at the electronic copies of those documents. I sat in a room along with one person watching me, and I wasn't allowed to take any pictures of any of the documents. I wasn't allowed to take anything with me, and I was denied an email digital copy of the documents, which is a common practice in public records release. I view this as obstruction, and the worst part is, which what brought me here to speak, because I wasn't going to come speak about it. I was going to go through the channels of the Public Records Council in Indianapolis and what other legal channels I'd had to do, but I was explained to by the staff person that was there, Alvin Richards, that these rules are delivered to him via email. And I asked for an explanation as to who sent them, which is what's triggering my visit here. And he simply said, I don't know. So you're obeying and instituting rules on behalf of the school board that you don't know where they come from. Well, was it a board email? Was it the chief of staff email? Was it an email from Ms. Irma? He said, I don't know. And so this is not a grievance. This is unbelievable And so I couldn't even articulate this as grievance. And I felt it was only fair that the board know this, that we have ghosts instructing staff to do things and implement their rules, and the staff is obeying without knowing who the person or party is. I would like to believe in my best fairness that this board and the attorneys for the board is going to have those documents released to me and sent via email as I sent my written request prior to this meeting. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'm gonna move.
Good evening, Dr. Stokes, school board, community members. I'm Dr. Janora Holmes, one of the assistant principals at Westside Leadership Academy. It was very disturbing to see that one of the agenda items was the non-renewal of the administrative and teacher contract of our principal, Mr. Carl Scott.
Don't you can just, don't call the employees.
Oh, no, ma'am. Yes, my apologies. Excuse me. As some may know, I first began as an assistant principal in 2021 under the guidance of a different principal at Westside. I returned last year because I was informed of the respect and vision of the current principal. My son is an honor student athlete who represents the sentiment of his graduating class, the class of 2026. And they believe that our principal hones in on their academic abilities and respects their voice. Working under the leadership of our current principal, I can attest that the numerous changes charged to the current administration and student body has had an air of uncertainty and at times chaos. I'm a firm believer that consistency of actions and not constant change provides a foundation for students and teachers to have a conducive learning environment. Student voice, as well as voice of administration, potentially were not included in the recommendation not to renew our current principal's contract. This evening, I ask that you hear our voice and decide against the present recommendation. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Angela Blakely. I'm a teacher and a coach and someone who works directly with our students in this building every single day, and I'm speaking of Westside Leadership Academy. I stand before you tonight in support of our principal. Leadership in education is not easy. It requires vision, consistency, accountability, and the ability to serve students, staff, and community, often all at once. From my perspective inside the building, I have witnessed our principal lead with intentionality and focus. I have seen an emphasis on structure, expectation, and academic alignment. Those things matter. Change can be uncomfortable, growth can feel disruptive, but progress rarely happens without goal. Our students deserve stability. They deserve leadership that is present. They deserve someone who is willing to make hard decisions in order to move the school forward. And I believe our principal is working towards that. As educators, we ask our students to preserve, to show resilience, and to trust the process. We should model that same commitment when it comes to school leadership. I'm asking the board to consider the importance of consistency and support during this time. When leadership is supported, schools are strengthened, and when schools are strengthened, students win. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to move to consent agenda.
Mr. Vice President, I would like to remove item 5.8 from the consent agenda for separate consideration. Oh, sorry. Mr. Vice President, I'm asking that we remove item 5.8 from the consent agenda for separate consideration.
For separate consideration.
For separate consideration. Thanks. 5.8.
So you're making a motion that we remove that from the consent agenda?
I'm not sure that it needs to be voted on, just if I...
To change the agenda, it does. Because we approved the agenda at the beginning of the meeting.
The again, well then,
Are you
yes.
requesting to vote on it separately? Is what you're
Yes, I'd like
asking?
separate consideration and thought on 5.8, which is a transfer of education fund to operations fund.
Is there a second?
If I'm not going to get a second, let me just say, it's not my belief that there will need to be a motion and a second for this fund.
Just to intervene on that, there was a motion to approve the agenda, so pulling this out changes the agenda, which then will require the motion for this to be voted on separately.
All right, without a second, the motion dies. All right, so we have items 5.1 through 5.9 on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Vice President, I so move to approve the consent agenda, items 5.1 through 5.9.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes. Yes, I have questions and comments.
Ms.
On
Lott.
item 5.8, this is an item I don't believe should be on the consent agenda since it is a request to transfer funds from the education to the operation fund, resolution 23, which states that it is resolved that the superintendent of Gary Community School Corporation approves that the education fund can transfer to the operations fund during a duration of 2026 with an amount not to exceed 15%. So this is authorizing that 15% fund transfer. I'm going to, there's no conversation that can be had about this. I'm going to vote no on the whole consent agenda then, because what amount is 15% even represent? Why is it being transferred? What is it intended to cover? What is needed at this time? So if there's too much conversation, then.
Sorry, if I can interject. We do not know the amount because it is based on our ADM count. It is our basic tuition money that we receive. We are allowed to transfer 15% of what we receive monthly into the operations fund in order to support our buildings and all the operations involved. So we do not technically know that because the Indiana Department of Education changes throughout every month, and that is called the Form 54. So every month I have to pull that, and then that's when I know the amount.
And we do the resolution out of courtesy because the law does allow us to move up to 50%, but we put it as a resolution so that, you know, we can make it known that that's what we're wanting to do.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Yes, I do. Just, this is why I don't think that this should be in the consent agenda, so we can have a full-blown conversation when it comes to moving money from one fund to another, especially when we're talking about millions. Why is it being moved? I understand what you're saying, that the law allows you to move it. Just what is it covering? Why is it covering it? What money was in the fund that is being transferred to, which is operations from education, but just in terms of what's coming up in operations that you anticipate that you'll need to cover that you're short on. Just this whole conversation cannot happen because it's in the consent agenda. So again, my motion, I couldn't even get a second to move an item to transfer millions of dollars from one fund to another. I don't think it's proper to be in the consent agenda, and that's why I'll be voting no to it.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
All right, the consent agenda is approved. All right, action items. Introduction of new admin staff member, Mrs. Ludington.
Good evening once again, Dr. Stokes, board members, and this amazing community, and those tuning in virtually. I have a personal pleasure in introducing our newly appointed Director of Security, retired officer, Gregory Faison. Detective Corporal Gregory Faison, retired from the Gary Police Department, and as he comes, I'm just giving a few bullets. With over 24 years of law enforcement experience, and during that time, he has served as the coordinator of the Crisis Intervention Team, Hostess Negotiation Team Lead, as well as a detective with the Metro Homicide Unit and the Juvenile Division. He also served as coordinator of the Mental Health Awareness and Peer Support Program for the City of the Gary Police Department. I won't read the rest, but I will indicate that he is a proud graduate of Westside High School class of '89, and my colleague in band. Come on up for band member, our new Director of Security, Gregory Faison. Congratulations.
Good evening, Dr. Stokes, members of the board, and ladies and gentlemen of the community. Let me say first that it is a pleasure to be here to add to this journey in my life that I did not know I was taking. Tell you a little bit about me. Like it says here, Gary Police Department. 23 years of service 24 as a police officer, 3 as a sworn, so 27 altogether. I've held many positions at the actual police department, from the FBI task force to COP, which is community oriented policing, to being in the homicide unit, as well as spending my last time in the juvenile division. One of the things that I like is being in the juvenile division. It gave me an opportunity to work with the children within our community. And being on both sides, I believe that I have a duality when it comes to this particular coin. Because being boots on the ground at one point, and now being in the part where I can sit down and reenact some of those restorative practices that we've been trying to implement. And I gotta say this to the community. Without the community, we can't do this. We need the community. There's no way, because you know your kids better than we do. So without that, we just can't do it. And like you said earlier, I have been the coordinator for our hostage negotiation team, CIT, which is critical incident team, which is dealing with mental health, as well as the liaison for the Gary Police Department with the Gymnast Corporation, which dealt with mental health as well. One thing I'm going to say is, during my years at the Gary Police Department, it has always been my pleasure to serve the citizens of Gary. So I look forward to continuing that by serving the Gary Community School Corporation and dealing with the children there, which I believe are the future of our history, or moving forward. We don't put anything back into them, how will they grow? So we have to take that time to at least foster those partnerships with the family, the children, as well as the individuals that we work with. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. I just want to give you an overlay of something about me. And once again, very excited to be here to continue on. I thank you guys very much for considering me. Thank you.
Action items. Item 6.1, request for proposal of custodial services. Ms. Zalarovsky.
Yes. Good evening, Dr. Stokes, Gary Community School Board members, and community members. We have been under a contract for about 5 years with RJB Custodial Services, and it is time for us to go out for an RFP. This will be a sealed bid process. Do you have the clicker? Okay. In accordance with our request for proposal, I've listed the Indiana codes that we will follow. It is required that we post this on our website as well as in the newspaper twice. So it'll be in the newspaper for 2 weeks. I have a timeline, if you can switch the slides. Here's kind of the timeline. It's a quick timeline because this contract ends May 30th. So the new company would start June 1st. What I would like to do, and I have sent out to all of our administrators as well as principals, that I am requesting people to volunteer to be on a committee to help vote on who the new vendor would be. The principals in the buildings, they know what their buildings are like, they know what they need. So with their support, I think this process will go very well. We will also have the vendors come on site. We will walk the buildings. We will examine everything so they understand the needs of Gary Community Schools. And then we will have a voting process. The committee will consist of about 5 people. I am still waiting for some volunteers. If any board members would like to volunteer, I'd be more than happy to accept you. And the new contract will start June 1st, so we will hopefully have the vendor come to the board April 9th.
So I just wanted to add just a little bit about custodial supports. As many of us know, or perhaps some of us do not know, our facilities in the Gary Community School have aged, to say the least. Many of you talk about how you graduated from these facilities, and for some of you, that's 30 plus years ago. With that being said, we have to have a vendor who understands that just like an aging house requires a certain amount of care, if you will. So we want to make sure that we are mindful. I know we talked a little bit about operations earlier. Much of our money from the operations fund goes into our buildings, which are aging. Pipes break. You need new HVAC systems. We need money in the operations funds to support, but part of that is also making sure that our buildings are clean. So we take this very serious, as this will be my first opportunity under my leadership to actually interview a team that will be coming in to keep our buildings clean, keep them safe, so that we don't have a lot of breakdown or added maintenance costs. So with that in mind, please know that we're taking this serious.
Yes. So I request the board to approve to go out for an RFP.
Question.
Yes.
Is this, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is this RFP just for custodial or is
Yes,
it for
just for
building maintenance
custodial.
also?
No, just for custodial.
Okay, so it's not them checking and making sure the pipes are in good, working order.
No, that is part of our
It's just-
building grounds and maintenance staff that does that.
Okay, so it's just cleaning.
That's correct.
Okay.
And some snow removal of the walkways and the doorways.
Okay, and I know you said you anticipate having a committee make the decision. How are decisions normally made? Like, how was it made last time?
I don't know, I was not here.
Okay. Have you been here with any other RFPs or RFIs going out?
Meaning
Food service.
food service, yes, and we did the same type of process.
Okay,
with
so
food service.
You had a committee?
We did.
Okay, and this committee is just people from the community? Do they need any type of skill set?
No, it was actually, the committee was some administrators and board members.
Okay, and who chooses the committee?
That would be Dr. Stokes.
Okay. And so Dr. Stokes chooses a committee of like 5 people from presumably random, I shouldn't say random, but community members to sit on this committee to pick.
It would be principals, assistant principals, or administrators.
Okay, so it's not the general public.
No, the board members represent the public.
Okay. Okay, and so nothing said, presumably it could be all principals or all board members. There's nothing said in terms of one person from here, one person from there.
Nope, there is not.
There are no requirements other than what we deem appropriate to support the needs of our buildings.
When you say what we deem appropriate, who's the we?
The we would be me as the superintendent of the school, and with the guidance of any support from my board, that would be the we. Somebody has to lead, and that is me.
Absolutely. And so would you be picking the committee members?
Typically, if principals want to volunteer, we don't typically tell them no. Now, I would be honest, notice I said typically, a committee of 50 people, I'm probably not gonna get much done. So in a case like that, we probably would narrow it.
And is the committee drafting or having any input on the scoring criteria?
Yes.
And then after they do the submissions, they will be grading the submissions?
That is correct.
And then from their scoring, then somebody will be picked?
Well, actually, everybody will be able to view the scoring that everybody has submitted.
And then from there is the highest score?
Correct.
Is there any, is it only best score?
No,
or is it
actually, at that point, it's the most responsive.
Yes. That's what I was about to say.
Thank you.
So it's not just the best, the lowest price, but it's overall the best value for the school?
You're absolutely right. Correct, yes.
Okay. Are you going to do those separately? Do you anticipate you look at the criteria for skills, and then once you make some type of scoring based on that, then you look at the pricing?
It will be part of it. It's actually.
Hold on just a second. So during the bid opening process, the price will be read aloud when the bid is open. So that's done at the very beginning. That's actually state law. So, and then at that point, the committee will start going through the bids.
Okay.
And if you have more questions about that, we can talk after the meeting.
No, that's fine. I'm just asking questions that I think other people may want to know and be curious about also, just like I am. So since we are in a public meeting and the public is here, why not just inform everybody of everything? But I don't have any more questions, thank you.
Are there any other questions from board members? I need a roll call vote for item 6.1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, Secretary stepped out, but I was. Okay, all in favor of the motion? Okay, everyone in favor, is that right?
Yeah, so we just
need to vote. Okay, so-
call everybody on that.
Glenn Johnson,
Yes.
Chantre stepped out. Dr. Dean Johnson Woods, I vote yes. Angela?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, and we need another.
Yeah, so.
He stepped out, so.
Can we get him, because we need to have our vote so that we can.
I think it's been voted on.
Right, people chase somebody down the vote.
I think the vote fails.
It fails. I don't know the president, maybe.
Well, while we're waiting, I'll just say why I voted no. I voted no because I anticipate problems down the road when it's not written in, already baked in what the rules are.
Actually, it was lucky you abstained, you didn't vote no.
Well, I abstained because I need more information that I don't know, and I was told to try to find out later.
What? Yeah, but actually, with 2 yes and 1 abstention, it actually passes because we have a quorum of 3.
All right, thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
All right, item 6.2, request approval of MOU between Bilingual Bridges LLC and Gary Community School Corporation.
Good evening.
There we are. Good evening, Dr. Stokes and members of the board. I'm here to request approval of the MOU between Bilingual Bridges and the Gary Community School Corporation. This organization is already working with several of our students through our school improvement grant and through the Indiana Learns funds from IDOE. They were selected to continue to work with additional students. Parents were able to identify a tutor, either outside of school or in school, and parents selected Bilingual Bridges as that tutor, so those students will be tutored in school, similar to our other students that are already being tutored. And so I'm asking for approval of this MOU, so it's an additional MOU for the Indiana Learns funds. Are there any questions?
Any questions from board members?
Yes. This is paid for through a grant?
So it's paid for through IDOE. So each parent can receive up to $1,000 for tutoring through IDOE. So they changed the process this year. So parents had to apply on a portal. They only gave us a certain number of seats, and so those families were notified, and so they pay the money directly to Bilingual Bridges from IDOE.
And the $45 late or cancellation fee, where does that come from?
Which fee are you mentioning?
In the MOU.
So if a student was absent or they missed several tutoring sessions, the district could be charged. And so what we have done is met with every principal to ensure that they know attendance is crucial so that students are showing up. But that's where that would come from in the event that a student does not regularly meet with the tutor, which would be Bilingual Bridges.
Yeah, I understand it's 45. Just what fund pays for that 45?
So it will come out of the education fund.
And just as an aside, these are called MOUs, which
Memorandums of Understanding.
Yeah, my understanding of memorandums of understanding is that that language is typically used when it's like an agreement that doesn't include payment. No, am I the only one?
Standard language for education, MOUs, memorandums of understanding. That is a standard language that's used. There are other languages as well. I can't think of any right now, but that is a common term.
And
for what?
Other industries as well, we use them.
So it's the way we capture our agreement so that we know what we're responsible for.
You see what you say? You capture your agreement. And so that's, as a lawyer in the legal field, MOUs typically do not include contracts or, well, not typically include, but when you use that language, when we're looking at this action items and we see MOUs, some are actual MOUs, which are between governmental agencies or different things, and it's just, we're gonna formalize this agreement, but there is no money that's being exchanged. But some of these, which are called MOUs, like the one we're discussing for the $45, or some of the ones on the end, the MOU with the 504 agreement, or the MOU with Sella Academy, they're called MOUs, but they're actually contracts, and I just think that's a little confusing, and it was for me anyway, because again, some of these have no money component. They are true in the sense of what I would call an MOU, but that's just an aside. I just was curious why they're called MOUs. I just find it kind of confusing.
Thank you.
But thanks.
Any other questions? All right, roll call vote.
Mr. Chair, you
Yes.
did not get a motion on that.
Oh, we did not. Need a motion to approve the MOU between Bilingual Bridges and Gary Community School Corporation.
So moved.
Need a second.
Second.
All right, roll call vote.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
Attorney Lockett?
Yes.
I say yes, that vote is 4-0.
All right, with the vote of 4-0, motion carries. Item 6.3, request approval of MOU between Northwest Indiana Community Action Foster Grandparent Program and Banneker Marquette.
Me again?
Yeah.
So this MOU is between Banneker and this organization, where essentially a grandparent will be invited in for a few hours throughout the week to read with students, support in classrooms. Again, it's another way for the community to actively be involved in our schools, and so this is what this MOU stands to do.
All right, need a motion to approve item 6.3.
I'll make that motion.
All right, second. It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? All right, roll call.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
Attorney Lockett?
Yes.
And I say yes, the vote is 4-0.
With a vote 4-0, motion carries. Item 6.4, request approval of MOU between Starbase Indiana, Gary, and Banneker Marquette.
This MOU is used to support our students through our STEM education. So Starbase is an organization that invites students out for field trips and things of that nature to engage in STEM activities. And so this is just an extension of the STEM work that is being done within our schools. So at this time, I'm asking for approval of this MOU.
Need a motion to approve item 6.4.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
Attorney Lockett?
Yes.
And I say yes, the vote is 4-0.
All right, item 6.5, request approval of MOU between Crisis Center, Inc. and Gary Community School Corporation.
Me again. This MOU is between Crisis Center and Gary Middle School in an effort to bring mental health supports to our families and our students within the school. And so this is just an opportunity for this organization to provide behavioral health or mental health support to our students in our middle school. At this time, I'm asking for approval.
All right, need a motion to approve item 6.5.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Are there any, it's been moved properly second. Are there any questions or comments regarding item 6.5?
Yeah, just, is there a cost?
No, so they will directly bill the parents if they choose to engage in this work.
All right, so it's just a memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
I have nothing from, I don't have any other questions.
All right, any other questions from board members? All right, roll call.
Attorney Lockett?
Yes.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
I say yes, and Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
The vote is 4-0.
With a vote 4-0, motion carries. Item 6.6, request approval of MOU between Career Pathway and Gary Community School Corporation.
Yes, so this is our career coaching grant. The last few years, we received the grant ended, and an organization applied on our behalf, and we are now grant recipients again this year. So essentially, it allows our 8th through 12th grade students to engage in career exploration opportunities with this specific organization. So at this time, I'm asking for approval of this MOU.
All right, need a motion to approve item 6.6.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved properly second. Are there any questions or comments regarding item 6.6? All right, roll call.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
Attorney Lockett?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
And I say yes, the vote is 4-0.
All right, item 6.7.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.7, recommendation for non-renewal of administrative contract.
Good evening, board members.
Elementary, Ms. Citrovich.
Thank you. I apologize for the interruption. Good evening, board members, Dr. Stokes, and community at large. I respectfully request for the board to approve the recommendation for the non-renewal of the administrative contract that was presented to you for the elementary position.
All right, item 6.6 is a recommendation for non-renewal administrative contract. 6.7, I'm sorry. Need a motion to approve item 6.7.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions from board members? All right, roll call.
Attorney Lockett?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
And I say yes, the vote is 3-1.
With the vote of 3-1, motion carries. Item 6.8, Recommendation non-renewal of administrative contract, high school and accompanying teacher contract.
Again, esteemed board members, I respectfully request the recommendation for non-renewal of administrative contract for the high school position previously presented to you, as well as the accompanying teacher contract.
All right, need a motion to accept approval of item 6.8.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions and comments from board members? All right, roll call vote.
Mr. Johnson?
I'm gonna abstain from this vote.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
Attorney Lockett?
No.
I say yes.
All right, with a vote of 2-1, one abstention. Yeah. Motion carries.
Bad decision.
Item 6.9, request approval of paraprofessional agreement.
Good evening, board members. Another request for approval for the paraprofessional contract presented to you.
All right, need a motion to approve item 6.9.
So moved.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions, comments from board members? All right, roll call.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
Attorney Lockett?
Yes.
And I say yes.
All right,
Vote is 4-0.
with a vote of 4-0, motion carries. Item 6.10, request approval of MOU between PCG Indiana, Pre-ETS, and Gary Community School Corporation.
Thank you, board member Johnson. I wanted to give a brief explanation of what PREETS is. PREETS stands for Pre-Employment Transition Services. This is an Indiana Department of Education paid-for program to provide transition services specifically for students with 504 or IEPs.
All right, need a motion to approve item 6.10.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions, board members?
Yes. You said this was for transition? Could you
Yes,
explain
it's a
that?
great question. So students who turn the age of 14 through the Indiana Department of Education, they can participate in what are called transition services. That provides the opportunity for students to do questionnaires and to discover what they'd like to do possibly after their experience here at Gary Community School Corporation. So it provides them opportunities to look at education and work opportunities. And so they are, PCG is the company that is partnering with us, that is paid for, again, directly through the Indiana Department of Education to provide that opportunity to the students.
All right, need a motion to approve item 6.10.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions from board members?
I'm sorry, we are.
I think we already did that, so we
We're
can
on
vote.
6.10, right?
Yes. So we can vote, Attorney
yeah.
Lockett?
Yes.
I say yes. Dr. Woods?
Yes.
And Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Vote is 4-0.
With a vote of 4-0, motion carries. Item 6.11, request approval of amendment to the 504 agreement and PCG Indiana Inc. for Gary Community School Corporation.
PCG stands for Public Consulting Group. They are an organization that does many things, one of which is to support a program that will allow for 504 plans to be written via a computerized platform. We have been using this platform for some time, but this was approved prior to you being within the board, which means this was an outstanding contract before we became even a standalone district that was locally controlled. We are moving towards ending this agreement. The cost of the agreement is cost prohibitive considering that we can go forward and write the 504s independently without the online platform. So this is just approving the MOU through June 30th. We've already provided PCG with the necessary notification that we will be discontinuing our partnership, but this is making sure that we are continuing through June 30th.
Need a motion to approve item 6.11.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions or comments from board members?
Yes, I have a question. You say that we're moving to end this, right?
We are.
Okay. So this is just approving it
Through June 30th.
with what start date?
It started before we actually were a standalone district, so this is just making sure that we're renewing what we had with the notification that we're ending it on June 30th. We've been partnering, I apologize for the interruption, we've been partnering with PCG for that particular platform. I can't give you the exact year, but I can get that for you after the meeting if you'd like.
So that's the plan. Why is there language in this contract about renewal terms?
So the contract was the existing contract that we had that will automatically renew every year, and if I believe I can forward you the actual cancellation notice that we've already provided to PCG for June 30th.
I'm sorry. What happens if we don't agree?
We're going to continue with operating as it is, and then I will be just notifying PCG that they are not going to be our partner anymore. However, in order to be transparent, we wanted to make sure that the board understood that we've been in partnership with PCG for this platform.
And so, do you anticipate ordering any more documents from them?
No.
Okay. And so, Exhibit B, scope of work, where it says that new documents can be developed for a fee of $500 to $1,500 per page. We don't anticipate that that's going to be.
So similarly, there were other contracts that we've had when we first became an organization, again, that was locally controlled. And so what we're doing between now and June 30th is making sure that we're pulling all of the 504s that were developed under that current organization, PCG, so that, let's say, 5 years from now, someone wants to get a copy of the 504 that was housed in that platform, we need to make sure that we are getting those copies done between now and June 30th.
I get it. Okay. And so, just there's an initial fee, I believe it was $1,500, renewal fee of $3,500. Has that been paid already? Or?
I do believe that because we were under contract with them previously, I would have to check the rolls, but PCG has been paid for.
So they've been paid out for the year already. I suppose I'm just not getting, why do we need a new contract with them if we intend to end it and they've been paid already?
It was for full transparency, to make sure that the board knew we have been in contract with PCG to develop our 504s. It's a great question. We've been in contract with them since before we even became a locally controlled unit. We want to make sure that the board understands that we are under contract with them and we are ending that contract on June 30th, which will then end any payments that will be going to PCG.
Okay, so this contract that I'm looking at was signed in 2020? Sounds about right?
I have to verify that for you. I apologize, I don't have it.
No, I'm looking at it. It says that it was signed by the school system by Thorey Graham on 8/6/2020 and for PCG by Kristen Hunter on 8/6/2020.
Thorey Graham, I believe, was the existing, or the then Director of Special Education.
I'm still not clear. But I'll let it go. I just don't. I suppose this is just for accounting or?
Accounting, and then again, I'm going to reiterate, it's for transparency to make sure that the board understands that these payments that we've been making to PCG specifically for these 504 plans were put into contract prior to it of our local control. And being that we're going to be ending that, and you're going to see a change in what the accounting is going to demonstrate, we want to make sure that both you and the public understand we have been partnering with PCG since 2020. Through our internal investigations, we determined that we could develop our 504 plans without the utilization of this particular platform.
So if it's just for understanding, forgive me guys, but it's under action items. So it's like we're voting on this contract, no?
You are, yes.
So it's an extension of the contract to June 30th?
Yes, ma'am.
Essentially, the contract will get us through the end of this current school year, and we will no longer utilize their services. We can do our 504s in-house under our own leadership styles.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful, just in terms of it being extended to the end. Just, there's language in here, and forgive me, it's the lawyer in me. But when I read a contract that has a term, it's not stating what you're stating. And I just don't understand. It can just be written.
I believe it also states that there has to be a notice given to end that term.
Yeah, at least 30 days beforehand.
And we've already provided that notice, and I can definitely send it to you if you'd like to see that.
When did the current agreement end?
There's a renewal in there. And it only will stop if we explain to them, give them that notice.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? All right, roll call vote.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
Attorney Lockett?
No.
And I say yes, the vote is 3-1.
On the vote, 3-1, motion carries. Item 6.12, request approval of MOU between CELA Academy and Gary Community School Corporation.
This is one more special education agreement that supports students who have behavioral and emotional needs that go beyond what we are able to support within a public school setting. So CELA Academy is a location. We partner with other locations as well, but not all students are the perfect fit for other locations. This is an additional resource that we can then use to support when students need the additional mental health support.
Need a motion to approve item 6.12.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. It's been moved and properly seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes. What's the cost?
It's paid for typically out of Medicaid funding, so if there's not a fee to us. There may be circumstances where a student who is not Medicaid funded could incur a cost that would be billed to the district. In that sense, we do have additional special education dollars. They're called Part B funds, and those Part B funds can be used to be allocated to pay for the services through them.
That was my next question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or comments? All right. Roll call vote.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Dr. Woods?
Yes.
I say yes, Attorney Lockett?
Yes.
Vote is 4-0.
With a vote of 4-0, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. We're now going to move to information items. Item 7.1, school-based health clinic update. Is there a representative from Edgewater?
Good evening again. I would just like to provide from a Gary Community School Corporation update on the renovation of the school-based clinic at Westside. As you can see, I took a couple snapshots. We have plumbing is complete, but fixtures have not been installed yet. 90% of the drywall has been installed, as well as the taping. Painters are ready to get started. The floor will be laid soon. The ceiling tiles will be installed. Estimated completion is at the end of March. We're very excited to have them in the building. They've already, and I don't want to steal Dr. Karen Bishop Morris's thunder, but they've already seen some of our students and everything. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Karen Bishop Morris.
Thank you, Ms. Zaborowski. Good evening, Mr. Johnson, members of the board, Dr. Stokes, and the community. I'm very happy to be here representing Edgewater Health and the school-based collaboration, really, of the clinic. I just want to thank all of you for putting your confidence in us. The slide that's up is the temporary location for our Edgewater Health Behavioral Services. And so we are, as Ms. Zaborowski said, we've been seeing some students, and these are students that were already being treated at Edgewater. So this has really been a convenience for them because now they don't have to leave school to come to our main campus. We're able to see them here. We're seeing primary care. Our nurse practitioner is actually in this space with the nurse, with Nurse Teresa. So that's working out on a temporary basis. And when I think about this entire enterprise, it reminds me of the quote, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And that's really what this has been. Next slide, please. An example of us really working in tandem. I just want the board and the community to know that all of the moves that we're making are really grounded in the National School-Based Health Alliance philosophy. So that is a national organization, nearly 30 years old, that has been providing evidence-based guidance for school-based health clinics. They advocate for policies, for legislation, and they offered ongoing tremendous support in education and training, even though we've obviously been as a community health center for 52 years and as an integrated provider of behavioral health and primary care. This is a new venture for us, the school-based health clinic. So we just want to make sure that we are aligned with best practices and bringing that knowledge to bear on the school-based health clinic here in the district. Next slide. So congratulations, we did it. We actually had a soft launch on January 28th, and this soft launch is actually, that date was very important. That's our first real milestone because that's the date set out in the MOU with the district, and that's the date that we had to make in order to be compliant with HRSA. So we actually saw 2 patients in primary care on that day. The rest of the slide really talks about some of the other things that have been happening sort of behind the scenes as we're gearing up to full capacity. Thank you, Mr. Richards, for helping our personnel get IT and systems access. We continue to work hand in hand with the entire leadership team on all kinds of things in the IT space, on connectivity and privacy. We've established some temporary clinic hours as we phase into full operations, so behavioral health are half days on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then primary care on Wednesday afternoons. Next slide, please. So this is great. This picture actually represents the 2 teams, our school-based health clinic medical team coming together with the district team. So thank you, Dr. Treadwell and Jamila, for actually coordinating this meeting. We had this prior to the soft launch. We had about 30 folks present. From the district side, we had representation from nurses and social workers and psychologists. So it was wonderful because we were able to start conversations about workflows and referral pathways and all of the things that we need to really have worked out by the end of March. So the first of many, many such sessions. And if I can quote Jamila, she said after this meeting, you know, you really energized our clinicians. And I can tell you on the Edgewater side, we really feel the same way. This really, the purpose of this meeting was not for us to come in as, oh, well, we're Edgewater and, you know, this is how things are going to be. It's not that at all. We really wanted to learn from the folks who have been doing this job on the ground every day. And that's what we had an opportunity to start, and lots of good things in the work that have come out of that. Next slide. So here are just some things that you can be listening and looking out for, obviously with approval from Dr. Stokes and the district. So in terms of marketing and communications, in-house, our team has been mocking up some things like community billboards. So obviously, we're housed here at Westside. We're serving student, staff, and the community. So we want to make sure that folks know about that access. We have a number of different in-school poster campaigns, backpack letter to families, principal announcements, school newsletter. We want to take advantage of all of the channels that are possible to promote this so that this is a success. And our core messaging is really access to the community, confidentiality, huge emphasis on collaboration. Again, this school-based health clinic is everyone's school-based health clinic, and it only works, and we really emphasized this at the meeting back in January, it only works if we're working together. So we're not replacing the services that are in place. We're working together to strengthen what we're able to offer to our constituencies in terms of healthcare. So, next slide, please. These are just mock-ups of some of the posters. None of this has been approved. We have to get this, obviously, we won't be making any kind of public communicative moves without running those by the proper channels. So next slide, please. And then in terms of ongoing engagement, so our in-house team is obviously meeting more than weekly. Our huge team is meeting weekly to monitor implementation. And thank you again, Ms. Alvarosky. You've just been, the whole team, so responsive and so helpful. But in addition to that, one of the sort of outgrowths of that first district meeting is ongoing parent education sessions. So I know this is something that you already do, but our chief medical officer and some others on our team really want to be embedded in that process. And so we're working together to identify a date to do the first such parent education session under this new arrangement, a school/community advisory council. So we'll be coming back to you, and we've already had just a mention of this with some of the district leadership about an advisory council. So we're anticipating that council would meet twice a year in May and November, but it would be an opportunity for us to really drill down and offer some metrics. What's the impact? How are we measuring success and usage? And what kinds of trends and issues are we seeing in the school-based setting? And then lastly, a youth advisory council. So we think it's super important if we're talking about a school-based health clinic that we are centering student voice and feedback. So you can look forward to a youth advisory council as well. And again, these two councils are recommendations from the National School-Based Health Alliance, and we just want to make sure we're in alignment with all of that. So overall, we are operational, even in a limited sense, and we're building a really strong infrastructure, which we're very, very, very proud of. The build-out is a mountain, but this really isn't about a build-out or a business. It's about the people and better health. And so we're just so very honored to be able to be your partner in this. Thank you.
At item 7.2, Gary Community School Corporation 2026-27 school year district calendar.
Thank you, board members, Dr. Stokes, and community at large. This calendar in front of you is posted on our website. There were copies as you walked in for those who wanted to actually take a copy home with them. This is a calendar that we have presented to the union, and we are presenting to the board for informational purposes and be bringing this back for approval in March.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 8, administrative report. Item 8.1, financial updates.
Good evening again, Gary Community School Board members, Dr. Stokes, and community members. I would like to provide first an update from 2025. This is the final update. It takes a little bit in balancing at the end of the year. We submitted our Form 9. We received approval of the Form 9 in January. We had an early board meeting, January 9th, and so we were not able to actually balance the books until we completed the Form 9. And that takes some time because it's a 6 months of compilation of financial information. So with that, the year-end totals for the education fund, one thing I wanted to point out was, if you notice, do you have a clicker? Is there a clicker? In December, you will notice that there is a transfer from debt service. These payments are common school loan payments that we repay back to the education fund. These funds come from debt service money, which is property tax money from community members. We were able to make the June transfer to the education fund to repay this money back. In December, we were short by approximately $2 million in receiving property tax money in debt service. Thank you. So I was only able to transfer 1.3 into the education fund. I consulted with the Indiana Department of Education as well as the Department of Local Government on this, as well as our financial advisors, Baker Tilly. The recommendation unanimously was, if we do not have the funds, there's no other funds we could borrow from to pay back the common school loans. So what I did was I encumbered the funds of the balance that we could not support and repay back the education fund, and we encumbered those funds. So you will see that the funds in 2026, I've encumbered them, and it's about $5 million that if we receive in property tax money, we will be able to pay back those common school loans. I know it's a little complicated, but you can only borrow money from certain funds in order to pay back those common school loans. So with the ending of 2025, we left with a balance of $21,757,414. Any questions?
Yes. I'm trying to just follow what you're saying.
I know.
And so you're saying that
So
the money wasn't there for the company?
that is correct, yes. When we came on board and we were no longer under state takeover, we had to start paying back the common school loans. So there was approximately 15 common school loans that we had to pay back. So these payments are in our debt service. So property tax money supports the repayment of our actual bonds as well as the common school loans. And because we did not receive enough money in debt service to cover the repayment to the education fund, we had to short refund it.
So the June transfer debt service amount of $3,396,046, what's that represent?
That represents that first common school loan payment.
And did we make it?
Yes, that one we made.
Okay.
We were not able to make the December one.
So December where it says $1,316,331, that was not paid?
No, that was paid. This is the revenue, this is the receipt side.
Okay.
What we were short, and actually I probably have that number exactly.
We didn't have enough property tax to pay the entire amount due
Correct.
for that common school loan.
We owed 3.386 million. We could only move 1.316.
Wait, I'm sorry. So when you say you owe 3.386, that was the amount as of July?
No, as of December.
As of December.
The December payment. We pay the common school loans back twice a year.
Okay. So the 3396 that's on here for June was paid?
Correct.
And then when it's December, this amount here, that represents what was not paid?
No, this represents what was paid.
Okay. And then, so there's outstanding from that?
That is correct.
And where is that all up on the chart?
You will see it when we get into 2026.
Okay, but that just shows what was paid on debt
Correct.
service. Okay, and then is there a line, which I don't see, I suppose, total was due, or how much is due per year, or?
No, not in this cash sheet, no.
Okay. Is it somewhere in these documents I have?
Not the total amount, no.
Well, do you
No,
know the total?
I do, I have it right here.
What is it?
So the amount we should have moved was 3.386. We only moved the 1.316. So I encumbered $2,069,999.67.
From what fund?
From debt service.
I'm sorry, so I'm just trying to follow. And forgive me, I'm trying to just understand this. I don't, you know,
What I could probably do, because this might be an executive session, if
why
you
would
want
it be a
training.
session? I'm just asking if 3.36 million should have been moved and only 1.316 million was paid, then that debt is still outstanding of that amount, the 2 million whatever.
Correct.
From 2025.
Correct.
So I think where you're confusing her, Linda, perhaps, is that you paid it, but you had to borrow money from the education fund to pay it. Is that what you did? Okay, well, make it clear, because she's getting confused.
No. So the debt service fund needed to pay back the education fund $3.386 million. Debt service.
So it was borrowed from the education fund in the first place, and then they need to pay it back.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So when you say it was borrowed from the education fund, straight, like the line item, if it came before us, it would say, hey, we need to move some money from education to debt service? Or does it come to us?
These common school loans were prior to us being here. That is how they got Gary to have a positive cash balance, was they borrowed money from the Indiana Department of Education and then stated 5 years from now you will have to start to pay these back. So what they do is they deduct it from our tuition support.
Which is education money.
Correct. And then we have to pay back the education fund with debt service money.
Which is all property tax based. That'll help, I think, her understand it a little better. And when we don't collect enough property tax money, what she's saying then is that we can't pay it back because there's only certain funds that you can try to get the money from. But she's encumbered it.
Correct.
So the belief is that as we move into 2026, which actually we're here, that we will collect enough taxpayer money to make good.
What happens if we don't?
We do not have to pay it back. The law states that you may pay it back. It's not a must pay it back.
So why pay it back at all?
She means the education fund. That she
Correct.
wouldn't have to pay the education fund.
Correct.
I wish, Angela, you were right in that, but no, we won't get away with not paying back the common school loan. We just wouldn't have to pay back the education fund.
That is correct.
So how much do we owe in that, to them?
Common school loans,
Well, the debt, how much is the debt?
25 million.
What's the plan, like we presumably we're trying to pay back how much a year?
If it's typically 3.3 for the first payment and then 3.386 for the second payment. So it's it could be $7 to $8 million a year.
So you anticipate 3 to 4 years to pay back?
No, the common school loans actually, I think they extend out to 10 years. Mhm.
There's interest. There's penalties and fees?
No. No penalties.
So, because if it's 3.3 in June and then.
And it does fluctuate. We have debt schedules that are in Gateway. So these actual principal payments change.
Okay.
They're never the same.
Is it approximately 5 million, let's say, a year that we anticipate paying back?
I would have to look. I would have to pull the debt schedules.
Do you have anticipated how long we intend to be paying this back? I know you say it can extend up to 10 years, but what's the plan?
If we receive enough in property tax money, we can pay it back. So depending on how long that takes.
No. I suppose what I'm asking is like,
She's asking the schedule. What does the
Yeah, like
schedule
what's the
say?
schedule?
Like when you get an amortization type schedule, what does the
Exactly.
schedule say that we're gonna do 8 years, 9 years, 10 years? That's what she's asking. We can get that with the board.
I would have to pull them.
Yeah, we can get
Because
that.
they're all different.
well,
Some
when you
of them
come
were-
back next month, could you bring it with you so we can update our public also?
Some were taken out in 2019, some were taken out in 2020, some were taken out in 21. They were all different years.
Okay. Could you come back, when you come back next month, could you have that just so the public will know also?
So we're sure to have that. If it's the pleasure of the board, absolutely, we'll bring that information back. If not, we do have a board of finance, and so typically they kind of guide what we do, but we are happy to do that so that everybody's clear on these debts that we've incurred.
Yeah, I think it's really clear that the public as well as the board, but the public especially, are clear in terms of what's going on with the finances. It's always, what happened to the pool. We've heard that a million times. And so just as long as we're all clear and there's transparency, then nobody should feel any type of way about any type of spending that's going on. That's fine.
Thank you. So, Linda, I know you're gonna go. I do wanna go on record saying this. We're gonna always try to be transparent, but I think as leaders, all of us, there are gonna be things like you're a lawyer and other people are doctors. There will be always things in people's fields that maybe when you're not in that field day to day that you're not clear on. We're willing to try to help people understand, but sometimes it might require like a one-on-one. And I know some of the community members have come in and we've tried to explain things. But because we work in this field every day, kudos, I get it that we might understand it a little bit better. So we do want to try to be transparent and help people understand. And do know that some of the things like that deal with the pool, a lot of that was dealing around referendum. That is public knowledge. You could go look at that referendum and understand what was actually said, because some of the information that we're sharing is not actually what was said or put aside based on that referendum. But I agree, we want to be clear and transparent and try to support understanding where we can.
Yes, thank you. And thanks for that when you say that it may be out of our realm of understanding. You do deal with this. I'm not an educator. I'm just trying to understand it. If I'm having a hard time understanding, I know other people may have a hard time understanding these forms and what's going on and where the money is going. And so as I sit here as a representative for my city on this board, I just want to make sure that we're all clear in terms of what's going on with the finances, because it was a lot of money coming in with COVID and so forth, and a lot of people feel like they're in the dark about what happened. And so when you say you can go and you can check on State Board of Accounts, or you can go and you can pull this, we just want to have it discussed, explained, so we explain it to me like a 5th grader, so I can understand. I don't have knowledge of this. I don't do this, I don't read these type of charts, I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to be thorough, because again, we are all here, this is our community school corporation, this is the city's, it's a big employer, we're dealing with millions of dollars, and I just feel that we should all be upfront and clear in terms of everything with the finances that are going on, so that I appreciate you, and I just wanted to know, because I don't want it to be 2 years from now, we say, oh, we were never able to pay back the debt, and now we owe $30 million and they're gonna take over our corporation again. And we're sitting here and we're having these conversations that aren't really in debt or explaining, and it just happens and we move on and then we're back in the same situation.
And that is why I consulted with the Indiana Department of Education as well as the Department of Local Government, because they approve our budget. So they have to understand the position we're in, that we could not pay back the full amount.
Okay, so you're the chief financial officer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could come back and have those numbers, that'll be great. I know that if you want to continue through your charts, I do have some more questions, so I'll let you continue before I start.
Okay, all right. So here is the year-end 2025 referendum fund. We made transfers throughout every month of $700,000 to the operations fund to support our buildings, and then $100,000 into the education fund. We left 2025 with a balance of $6,693,000. We're out of order. Okay, let's go back to, here's a financial update for 2026. So this represents all of our January expenses. Nothing really out of the ordinary, other than I do have an update with NIPSCO. I've called NIPSCO. Our NIPSCO costs increased over $100,000 in 1 month. I also shared with them that in one of our buildings, they did not bill us for 6 months. They said it's a courtesy that they bill us monthly. They don't have to. They only have to bill us once a year. That bill was extremely high, and I said it's very hard to budget when we don't have our actuals. They said it's a courtesy. So I said, thank you. So I've also added our 2026 budget appropriations. So if you notice in the education fund, our transfers to ops stayed the same from previous years. Our referendum fund, the 10.5, has stayed the same. In the operations fund, we've increased the appropriations to accommodate all the additional expenses with the older buildings. So as of the end of January, our percentage of budget remaining is 92%. Here is the update from the education fund for 2026, and I have some notes. One thing I wanted to point out, the Indiana Department of Education emailed me. They neglected to deduct the common school loan payment for January. They apologized. So all of my debt schedules have to be realigned. They said it was just an oversight. So what they've done is they've taken the amount that we owe for the 6 months and they've divided it by 5. as you can see in the education fund, I encumbered in June what we owe in common school loan payments, as well as the $2 million that we just talked about. So I've encumbered those funds to $5.446 million. So hopefully, if I receive property tax money in debt, I will be able to repay that full amount. Other than that, with the education fund, our balance in January is $21,563,731. I did want to point out that our 3 pay in the budget year of 2026 is May and October. So you will see higher expenses estimated in those 2 months. One thing, and I added a slide to actually the last board meeting as well. I just wanted to make sure everybody understands what the referendum was approved for and the things that the referendum pays for. The other piece of this is we are now having to share part of our levy, our operating levy, with charter schools. And I have slides that I would like to go over that with you. Here's the referendum fund. As you can see, the referendum fund, I've estimated in January, I moved $800,000, $100,000 into the education fund, $700,000 into the operations, and I've extended it out, which would leave a balance in December of $9,063,000. I did estimate at 78% of receiving property tax fund for the referendum in June, and in December, I will also request an early tax draw in May and November. Operations fund. So this is the fund that kind of suffers the most. And in 2028, we will suffer even more. I did lower the tax rate, and I know I do apologize that it's not very visible here. The community has copies, as well as the board members. I changed the tax rate collection from 78% to 62%. Just to be fully transparent, we never received 78%.
So that was a marker put on by the former administration, and we've never collected that amount in our taxpayers. So it's hard to put an erroneous number that we've never experienced in terms of our tax collection. So she tried to lower it to give us a more accurate picture about what we might collect if we collect that amount even.
Correct. Yep. And our ending balance in January is $8,122,847. Here is the operations charter levy sharing, which started in 2025. 9 charter schools meet the requirements for receiving funding. This makes up 49.15% of funding based on ADM, as well as what is received in property taxes. We receive 42.39% of the 100%. The remainder, and I have a document from them, from the Indiana Department of Education and the DLGF, stating that the 16.24, that is the remainder, will be distributed in 2027. It'll be distributed to qualifying charter schools and Erie Community School Corporation. So they're very vague on what we're going to receive because the legislation continuously changes, and they are working on this as well. So as I am privy to information, I will share it. I did want to point out that when I submitted the budget to the Department of Local Government, there is a line item on there, and that is specifically for the operations charter levy sharing. They have estimated we shared $1.8 million in 2025 with charters, and they are estimating another $1.8 million in 26. And remember, this is just an estimate. Here is that local property tax credit. At the last board meeting, we kind of touched on it, and I wanted to give an example. So this is a property tax bill, and I want to show where that credit shows. This is the credit that is going to go away in 2028. It's called the local property tax credit. Homeowners will not have to pay this credit back. Right now, the state funds this credit, and we receive that money. We have no idea the impact that this is going to have. Neither do the legislators. So we are closely monitoring this, but this is just one local household. We are going to lose $618 among all municipalities. And that's it for my financial update.
No question.
Any questions?
Yeah, if you can go back to the,
Which one?
to the major fund versus budget. So on this, where it says budget appropriations, total major funds, 2026 budget appropriations, 77,344,000. That's your budget, but that's not what you're gonna get in.
Correct.
Okay. And so when,
That is what they are allowing us with our cash balance and what we've estimated to be our expenses.
I'm sorry, that just made no sense to what I just said. So explain it to me. So when the 77,344,997, that's the budget.
This is what we're allowed to spend.
You're allowed to spend that much.
Correct.
Okay, and so what you actually collect is going to be less than that? Or is this the amount you, kind of like what you plan to collect?
Well, we have a cash balance that could help support this, and that is part of that, that the Department of Local Government assumes that if we need to spend our cash balances, that will help support this appropriation.
I don't know if that answered my question. Do you anticipate getting in $77 million in the Gary School Corp in 2026?
That I actually do not know if we're going to collect 77 million. We have cash balances that support the total amount here that we are approved to spend.
So in essence, if we don't collect 77 million, we do have cash balances, but of course that means we're eating away at our cash balances, which means we're lowering those cash balance accounts.
So, how much did the school corp collect last in 2025 for the whole year?
I do not have that number with me right now. And you're asking in totality, in revenue?
I'm saying for your education fund, for your referendum fund, and for your operations fund, just like you have it here, line by line, what was collected in 25?
So let's go to the education fund. So this is what was collected in revenue for the education fund.
What's that?
41,253,000.
How about the referendum?
$10,996,000.
In the operations?
I think that one was deleted. We collected in 2025.
It's on there, you just passed the slide, I saw it.
It's
This one?
25,391,000.
So it's about in line with the 77 million budget for 2026. Yeah? So then when you look at what was spent for January, like from it's about at 92, 93%. Is that where you're feeling it should be at the end of
Yes.
January? Okay.
Yes.
And so if it continues like that, we'll be on schedule.
We'll be on track.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll not have to request additional appropriations at the tail end of the year,
Okay.
depending on what happens.
Okay, and then what she's saying, if, what the superintendent was discussing, that you could take it from the cash balance?
We could.
What's that mean? Like, what's the cash balance? In terms of, is this on, the cash balance on these dots?
Yes.
Okay. And so then also, do you have a breakdown by schools? Like, this is what we're spending, or we anticipate to spend for operations in this school, or for, education. School breakdown per school.
We do not. It's just Gary Community School Corporation as a whole.
Okay, but, so you don't budget like that at all?
We do not budget by school. We budget by object codes, which is salaries, benefits, services, those types of things. And that's how we report it. We do include locations, but we don't budget by that. We budget by object codes.
Is that typically how school corporations do it?
Yes. In Indiana, yes.
And then when you said about the NIPSCO, wasn't it already budgeted? Like, we pay this much NIPSCO normally per month? That this shouldn't have just been a big surprise at the end?
Well, we anticipated this increase. We did anticipate it, but $100,000 is a lot.
No, I know, when you were discussing that you get a bill once a year or whatever, that wasn't a surprise, was it? Like, I suppose that it went up, but.
Yes, I mean, we knew NIPSCO.
I think she's asking you, did you set aside money to pay the bill?
Of course we did.
Exactly.
Of course. Yes. We increased the budget by 15%.
And so what is not available to this board is a line by line per school spending. So if there's we got to request 6 million for boilers. There's nothing anywhere that says, that this school's gonna need this much in maintenance, and this school that need this much in maintenance, anything like that?
We do know the buildings that need new HVAC, but it's in totality. And remember, that capital projects plan is a 3-year. It's not in just 1 year we would do all these capital improvements. The reason we submit that is for approval, understanding that it's within 3 years that we will make these updates. So it could span over 3 different budgets.
So you don't do operating costs per school, just the district, like the big district?
Correct.
Okay. So it's not anticipated, I don't know, okay.
And I think already said that you've asked some very insightful questions, and some of us have been on the board longer than others, you know, as a
And
whole.
I'm new.
And so I do believe it will be helpful to have a retreat and a time to kind of go over some of these things so that we're all on the same page. I want to say, Ms. Zoborowski, I do really appreciate your level of detail. A lot of information is provided on these slides, so I do appreciate all the time and effort that you do that. And I understand my board members want to be have more knowledge in terms of the background and stuff. So I think that's definitely something that needs to happen so that we're all on the same page in terms of where we're going and where we're heading and where we're been. So thank you so much for your questions.
So a retreat is always at the board's pleasure. So if the board president and his team chooses to have a retreat, we are more than happy to facilitate.
Do you have financial statements such as a balance sheet or income statement for us?
This actually supports that, yes.
Okay. Okay.
So I will put it out there again, if any board member so chooses to have an orientation, these types of things can be asked in a one-on-one or one-on-three type setting so that you can better understand. We're open to that again. We've offered it before and we're willing to offer it again. Or if you want to have it in a retreat where you all get it together, we're more than happy to do it that way also.
I appreciate that, Superintendent Stokes, because I've been asking for orientation since I got here. So I appreciate that, which brings me, well, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Zoborowski.
Last but not least, we have our auction coming again in March. We have some vehicles still available for sale, so you will see this on our website. Just FYI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving to item number 9, board reports or communications. Are there any individual board member reports?
Not a report, but a couple comments, if I might.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to really lend my kudos to the students of the Gary Area Career Center who received certification for radio and broadcasting and TV, and also for welding. Those 6 students, I just really want to give them my accolades because I think they've done an extremely good job. I think the school district does an extremely good job of showcasing students who are excelling and assisting those who may need additional assistance. Also, I just want to say that for the MLK Ecumenical Service, the essay contest winners, the 3 students who placed 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, again, kudos to them because writing is one of my passions. And so I love it when I see students who can really write and write well because that will take them far no matter what their discipline is when they go to college. It will take them very far. And then I just want to say in terms of the Steel City, the bowl that's coming up, the academic bowl, I think that's the title of it. Okay, Knowledge Bowl. I just want to say that I wish you well, good luck. And we are all praying for a three-peat. So I'm looking forward to that because I know they're going to bring it home. And then I just want to say thank you and congratulations to Dr. Stokes and all of you for our new Director of Security, Mr. Faisal. You have joined a phenomenal team, and I'm certain you will add a lot to what needs to be done here at this Gary Community School Corporation. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and welcome.
Mr. Irving?
No comments, I think Dr. Wood said everything so well.
Attorney Lockett?
I certainly do. I just want to say that I think it's important that we follow the policies that are written because that is how people determine or try to figure out this is how I have to move. This policy says I do this and then this happens. So I think what I've seen a lot of, unfortunately with this administration, is that the policies just aren't being followed at times, quite honestly. Also, in terms of just full transparency with our community, Just even when it came to remove something from the consent agenda. If somebody wants to talk about transfer of monies, I think that should be discussed. But again, I'm just one vote, I'm not the board, but I just wanted to say that I think that we should be transparent with our public. This is our community school corporation. Gary is a beautiful city. I've been here over a decade. I love the city of Gary. I represent this board from my city council, and I just think it's important with the great things that the mayor is doing to attract people to the city of Gary. The most important thing is going to be your school system. Nobody wants to come, or I shouldn't say nobody, but some people are reluctant to come and move in somewhere where there's not good, healthy schools that are doing a good job for the students. And so when I look at the city of Gary and the 2025 I read, when the state average is 87.3%, and the city of Gary, we're at 55.3%. We have a lot of work to do, and I just feel like this is a sense of urgency that should be on all of us, that we, and I'm not saying anybody isn't urgent or anybody isn't taking this as serious as I'm taking it, but I'm just saying that we should be transparent. We should do all we could do to get the community out. We should get their buy-in. We should look at things that worked in other places in terms of how to educate these children. I know that our students are not, they're not dumb. They can learn just with some love and some time and some energy and policies being followed. So their policies are there for a reason, and then when there's rules and then they're not enforced, then there's no discipline, then people just be like, okay, nobody cares, and then they don't care. So I just wanted to say that piece. I also want to say, in terms of just this is a random little aside, but my email address is alockett@garyschools.org. If you could update that on the website, I think your technology, right? Just it has the K-12, I can never do that too much. So, and then also just in terms of with the, which was funny to me, when there was a comment about, look at board docs, it's there, do you know how to use it? I've heard that myself a couple times, and they're not there. The background, the documents aren't there. They're not shared there. Maybe it can be fixed, but I've looked and I don't see them. So that's just important that people be able to follow and keep up with what's going on in terms of the school corporation. But I also would be remiss to sit here in February and not just honor Black History Month. This school corporation is 92% Black. And so just some history on Black History Month. It was started as Negro History Week on February 7th, 1926 by Carter G. Woodson. He believed that blacks should know their past in order to participate intelligently in the affairs of this country. He thought that young African Americans need to know our history, to build on it in order to become productive members of society. That still holds true today. And so he also highly believed in the teaching profession, which is an honorable profession, which should be being paid more than people who play basketball, but that's a different aside. Just that he was very big on education, and like we are and we should be here. So February was selected because of Abraham Lincoln's birthday on February 12th, and as we all know, Abraham Lincoln is the president who signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, even though that only freed those who were enslaved in the slaveholding states, it still led to the abolishment of slavery. Also, it's Frederick Douglass's birthday, which is February 13th. And so in 1976, it was expanded as a full month as recognized by President Gerald Ford. And then in 1986, Congress passed Public Law 99-244, officially designating National Black Afro-American History Month. And that's for people to learn about the opportunities that Black American contributions to the country and the world. And so I just want to say happy Black History Month to all of us in here. I hope that we make some good Black history here. I see about the Black history when I hear about the pride of Roosevelt. I was not here, I did not go to Roosevelt, but I hear about the pride of that great school that is still very much alive within the community. And I submit that we can make Westside a great school along with Roosevelt, but we all got to get on the same page and just be aligned so that we can do a great job for our students who are here, who are coming up. I think that it was wonderful seeing the welders come in and the radio, the one that learned in the radio. I think that's fantastic. I think we should focus somewhat on building up the Career Center, because in the days of AI, you're still going to need plumbers, you're still going to need electricians, you're still going to need carpenters, and so perhaps we should put a push there. Oh, that's what I meant to ask, and which I'll ask next time, which is about the daily count, how many people, but we'll get into that. But it's all about attracting and keeping people within this school corporation, and I think that that should be front on mind for all of us every day. And that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to say congratulations to all the students who won awards as well. Also, I wanted to say welcome aboard to Mr. Faison. Definitely look forward to working with you. I will say that, I know that our superintendent and our administrators follow board policy. I also know that they spent a lot of time creating policies. And while there's still some policies that need to be worked out, they were very diligent about that. And one of the things that haven't been on the school board for 14 years, board training is imperative, and I think that every member should take the opportunity to participate in trainings, whether it's locally or even in Indianapolis. I think that it's imperative that you go for training, because then you'll get a better understanding of how everything is done within the state of Indiana. And also having been born and raised in Gary for the last, lived here for the last 58 years. And a proud graduate of Gary Wirt High School. And actually my son graduated from Gary Westside. I definitely would want to see Gary Community School Corporation and the city of Gary not only come back to its heyday, but to exceed that. And I think that we are well on that path to doing so. All right, so next item on the agenda is superintendent's report.
Thank you so much. As I've sat here and I think about where we are in such a time as this in our country, in our state. So follow me, our country, our state, our city, our community, our school district. I listened to Dr. Karen Bishop Morris as she was saying, and I wrote it down what she said. She said, if you want to go far, or actually, let me repeat that. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And so the charge I want to give to myself, my chiefs, my teachers, my principals, my administrators, my school board, my students, and the community. We want to go far, which means we need to go together. And you're asking, well, why are you saying that, Dr. Stokes? Because what I don't want is a spirit of competitiveness, a spirit that makes it seem like we're not trying to work together. We're all adults, most of us in here. Actually, I think the child left. We all have our own mindsets about how things should happen or should occur, but we need to work collaboratively and not be in positions where, you know, where we're feeling like we're taking pot shots at each other, because we don't want to do that. We're not going to get anywhere doing that. I pride myself in one thing that has always been said about me, and people who've worked with me in other districts know this to be true. I really try to work with people because I know how you show up matters. How I show up matters. So even if there are people who maybe in my mindset are not maybe people that I would fraternize with, just here and there, I respect them, I respect who they are, but how you show up does matter. And I said all that to say that if we are going to make Gary Community Schools the place that we all say that we want it to be, if we want the academics to be what we say we want it to be, we've got to work together. We've got to stop, you know, assuming bad intentions. We've got to stop assuming that people are doing things wrong, but seek understanding. And sometimes that understanding, and I'm open to it, some of you know, Mr. Bugs, you know I'm open to it. I'll have a meeting with people. The reality is sometimes you do need to have a sit down to better understand. So I'm just giving us a charge that if we want to just go fast, as Dr. Bishop Moore said, then you go by yourself, and you'll be by yourself. You'll be ahead of everybody, but you'll be by yourself. But if we want to go far, we have to go together. And I'm asking us as community, please, please, this isn't DUAB. This isn't the former administration. We are a new team, and we want to work with you. Allow us to do that. With that being said, if you could go to my next slide, please. I want to remind the community that we have IRE 3 coming up March 2nd. This is our 3rd grade assessment, which we all know is very important. Parents, please, please, please make sure our scholars get a lot of sleep, that they're fed, that they're rested, and that they come in to do what we know is best. As one of my board members said it best, Ms. Lockett said our students are bright, and they are. They are bright. We want them to show up and do their best. Spring break is March 16th through the 22nd. I want to remind parents, please don't drop our scholars off at the house, at the schoolhouse, because we won't be here. Spring break is March 16th through the 22nd. And for our high school parents and our high school students, SAT testing is March 4th. Please get some rest. Don't stay out late. Do what you have to do to be ready to rise to the occasion. And with that, I yield it back to our Vice President. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. We do have the draft agenda. The only thing that I would say that's on that agenda that's different from some of the routine things we do is that we will be bringing back the calendar as an action item, and I do think we have our athletics will be up for information at our next board meeting. Thank you for correcting me.
All right, so with that, we need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
A second. Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned.